You're dealing with so many objections, and closing deals feels like an uphill battle. And the only reason it feels like this is because you haven't understood the power of micro commitments. It's either that you don't know what micro commitments are, or you don't know how to effectively use them in your sales calls to prevent objections from happening. But if you stay to the end of this video, you'll understand how to close deals effortlessly without dealing with objections at the end of the call by using micro commitments, which are basically just those really small yeses that you need to get the overall big yes, which is obviously commissions in your pocket and closing the deal. I'm gonna do this by walking you through an example, which I'll use, which will be selling a Facebook ad service to a dentist. So that way you can understand what micro commitments I use, how I use them, and how I flow through the sales call. And then you can use that example and apply that to whatever it is that you sell. And I'm also gonna share how this exact strategy literally took a sales team that I used to sell on that was only closing at like 25%. I came in at 50%, started closing deals using this strategy, and the sales team went from 200K a month to 800K a month. This stuff works. So let's get into the video and let me show you how it's done. What are micro commitments? Micro commitments are just the small yeses or sales that are required to get the overall big sale at the end, right? Like if you want to go out to eat with your friend, you have to agree that you guys are both hungry in order to go out to eat together. You're also going to have to agree that you guys both want Italian food and that you both want pizza in order to go to the pizza place that you want to, right? It's these things that are required in order to get the yes to actually happen. Think of micro commitments as stepping stones. And as you jump stone to stone, if you miss one, you're going to trip and fall before you hit the finish line. If you miss just one, it creates these loose ends where it invites objections and it makes closing deals so much harder. And a big rule of thumb here, just to drive this point home before I get into my example, if you have hard conversations early in your sales call, it makes the close at the end extremely easy. And if you have a very easy, free-flowing, casual conversation in your sales call, then the end of it becomes insanely hard to close. So what you guys are probably doing, if you're dealing with all these objections, is you're not confronting the hard truths, you're not having the hard conversations early, and then you're getting flooded with objections at the end, and you think you have an objection handling problem, but you have a micro commitment problem. Let me give you guys a visual example, as I think it'll help kind of drive this point home, right? So we have the money. So let's say this is I'm gonna do a terrible job. Okay, so I'm gonna illustrate this example using an example and then also this drawing, so stay with me here. Let's say this is the money. It is inside this house, and there are walls here to basically protect this house. So we have wall number 1, we have wall number 2, we have wall number 3, we have wall number 4, we have wall number 5, okay? And you here are the guy trying to close the deal. And this is the prospect's money. These walls here are each micro commitment that needs to happen. So in this example here, we are selling for a marketing agency that sells Facebook ad services to dentists. So I'm sure you guys have hopefully all got your teeth clean. You don't got stinky breath. So you guys know what a dentist is, and you guys probably know what a Facebook ad is, right? A lot of local businesses will use Facebook ads to basically go and get clients. So this here is we're not just going to be any prospect. It's going to be a dentist, right? Dentist, who is the prospect's money. And then you here are trying to sell these Facebook ad services to this dentist. So this dentist they're trying to get more clients, they're trying to make more money, they're trying to grow their dental practice, and they need help getting more clients, right? So what micro commitments are going to be necessary for them to buy a Facebook ads marketing service to go and get more clients? Okay, so wall number 1 here is going to have to be that they agree that they need more clients. It seems simple, but if they don't want more clients and they don't want to grow the business, they're not going to invest money to grow the business. And you might be like, well, why wouldn't people want to make more money? What if this guy's 60 years old and he just wants to like spend time with his family and like hang out, and he's not all that focused on aggressively growing the business? That needs to be established. Like they have to actually want change, they have to actually want to grow the business, and they have to actually want to make more money, and they have to actually want to get more clients. If that isn't established, what are we talking about? You know, we're not going to invest money in doing that, right? So the way that we can tactically do this is, gotcha, Mr. Dentist, we'll call him Brad. Hey, Brad, like right now you said in your form prior to this call that you're doing about 50 grand a month. What's got you wanting to scale the business? Like what's the overall goal here? Like, well, I want to get to 100 grand a month. Why do you want to get to 100 grand a month? I want to get to 100 grand a month so I can hire more people or have more time or make more money or retire earlier or whatever, right? We have to know that there is a need for more clients, right? Basic, let's move on. The second piece here is the current way isn't working. So wall number two, micro commitment number two, potentially objection number two, is we have to get them to agree with this micro commitment that their current way of getting clients isn't working. So let's say they're using picket signs and billboards all over their town or city or whatever, and that's how they're currently getting clients. We could get to the very end of this call, but if he could say at the end of the call, yeah, man, I'm just gonna buy more billboard spaces and put up more signs, like it's working, so why not just double down on that, right? That's a potential objection that we get if we don't get him to agree and say, the current way that I'm getting clients is not working and I can't get to my income goal, my revenue goal, if I don't change the way that I'm doing it. The next micro commitment is going to be Facebook ads is the way. Boom, there we go. You know what I mean? So we could get the potential objection that, oh, well, I talked to one of my buddies who's a dentist and he said that Facebook ads didn't work for him. Or Facebook ads don't work for dental practices. That's for that online stuff, not these brick and mortar businesses like me, right? That can be another objection. So we have to get them to agree that Facebook ads is the way to get clients and it is the way to focus on getting clients to grow their dental practice. If they don't agree on that, they're not going to buy a Facebook ads for dentist service, obviously, right? But it seems obvious, but this can be something that someone misses and then the deal doesn't close because they're like, well, I'm going to try YouTube ads, or I'm going to try making content, or I'm going to try billboards. You know what I mean? Like they're going to try a different way of getting clients instead of your way of getting clients. The next micro commitment here is going to be, can't do it on my own. We have to get them to agree to that because they might say, okay, I do need more clients. The current way I'm doing it isn't working, so I have to try something else. Facebook ads, is that something else that I'm going to try? And then they might say, I can figure this stuff out. Let me watch a couple YouTube videos. I'll figure it out myself. So we have to get them to agree that either don't have the time, they don't have the money to waste on learning it themselves and making mistakes and burning money on Facebook ads, or that they just don't know how to do it. And it's usually one of those three reasons that gets them to agree that they can't do it on their own. That is a necessary micro commitment to happen if we're going to get them to pay us to do it for them. The last piece here is agency. Ooh. Terrible writing. We're going to try this. Agency over employee. Okay. So if as you guys get more sophisticated in the world of sales, right, the business owner basically makes that decision of, okay, I need more clients. The current way I'm doing it isn't working, so I have to try something else. Facebook ads is the way I'm going to do it, but I can't do it on my own. Now I could go hire an agency, which is like a separate business that does this for other businesses, or I could just hire someone full-time at my dental practice to do this for me and only focus on me, right? So now we have to sell them on how hiring an agency is going to be better than hiring an employee to do it themselves. So it's like, hey, Mr. Dentist, like, you know, if you hired an employee who'd never done this before, it's going to be way more expensive because you're going to have to pay them full-time to only focus on your stuff. And how are you going to hold an employee accountable? How are you going to hold an employee accountable on how to run Facebook ads if you don't even know how to run Facebook ads? Do you see how that would be an issue? And how if you had a business who had done this for over 200 dental practices, how that might be a little bit easier than trying to manage someone because we have so much more experience in this random person that you would hire and spend more money on and then not know how to manage? And they're like, well, shit, okay, I do need an agency to do it, right? Because if we can get them to agree to these 5 micro commitments, then the last sale that we have to have is use our Facebook ads service and hire us as an agency and pay us money to do it for you. If he has agreed that he needs an agency, he can't do it on his own, Facebook ads is the best way, the current way of doing it's not working and I need more clients, it's pretty easy to just say that your agency is better than the other agencies. And once that agreement has been established, they will pay you money on that call. And how if we miss just one of these 5 micro commitments, the deal ain't gonna close. And where I see a lot of sales reps go wrong with this concept of micro commitments in their sales calls is they don't get the answer that they're looking for and they get a little squirmish and they get a little nervous and they're like, I don't really know what else to say. I'm just going to start like pitching him. Hopefully that was like good enough and I checked enough boxes to like hopefully just like close them instead of like having the hard conversation and not moving forward in the conversation until you get the answer that you're looking for, right? Like if we're on, number 2 here, the current way isn't working and they're like, yeah, man, I don't know. Like, I think what we're doing is working just fine. We're doing 30 grand a month right now. I think we could probably just keep doing that, but it might not be a bad idea to do Facebook ads too. I guess you're kind of right, but the way we're doing it is working just fine. What are we doing? Like, why? Like, If you were just like, oh, okay, agree to disagree, let's move on. Not going to work. It won't work. That will be the objection. You're going to get to the very end, you're going to waste an hour of your time, and then they're going to say, let me just keep doing what we were doing actually. Or this kind of expensive, I could just keep doing what I'm doing now. It's working just fine. That will be the objection. So you have to be like, you have to change that belief for them. Like, this belief needs to be established in their head. All 5 of these beliefs needs to be established in their head. It is a requirement for the purchase to go through. So you just don't move forward until those words have came out of their mouth. And very important distinction here. If you say these words, it's bullshit. If they say these words, it's true. You have a financial incentive for saying all 5 of these things. So you're going to ask him questions and get them to say these 5 things. You are going to make them say it because, again, you have a financial incentive for making them believe these things and, buying the service because you make commission. So they're already at a level of distrust with you when they start the conversation. So if you ask them questions that make them say these 5 things, then it's their idea. And if it's their idea, then it's true because people believe themselves. They don't believe you because you're a salesperson and they just know that you want that money. The reason I'm so confident that this actually works is because I've done it and I've seen it quadruple a business that I used to be a closer for. So my last high ticket sales offer that I was ever on as a high ticket closer, when I stepped onto the team, they were doing about 200 grand a month and they had about a 25% close rate. So not too shabby. And then when I stepped on the team, after I implemented some of this stuff, my second month on this offer, I was closing at 50%. And after spending about 9 to 10 months on this offer, my last month, I had a 76% close rate. And that last month, that business did $800,000 in revenue. So they literally quadrupled just from implementing micro commitments on their sales team. And the overall sales team, because I taught the whole sales team and the sales manager how to do this, the overall sales team average close rate jumped to above 50% as well. This changed this whole business. Basically what the business was we'd help people be more hands-on with their stock portfolios. And we had a specific strategy for how we did it. We only worked with the S&P 500. We only used one specific trading strategy and we only did it one specific way. So if people said that they wanted to trade or use a different stock or they wanted to use a different strategy, they wouldn't buy it. If they tried to trade crypto or a different market, they wouldn't buy it. So these were the micro commitments that had to be established, and I had to get them to agree that this was the best way to manage their money and use in their portfolio if they wanted to work with us. And if they said yes to all these things, then working with us became the obvious choice. And that's how I was able to make $30,000 a month as a closer selling this specific offer. Implement this strategy and you will make more money. You will close more deals. You will deal with less objections and life will just be easier as a salesperson. There's no better feeling than asking for money. People just say yes and they pay with no interruptions, no hesitations, no objections, no nothing. They're just like, yep, let's go. Send the invoice. Let me pay. Let's go. It's music to my ears, and micro commitments are the path to make that happen. If you got value from this video and you'd want to work with me in a more hands-on way, I have a super hands-on sales training paired with guaranteed placement to 6-figure remote high-ticket sales positions like the one I was just talking about. We have guaranteed placement. You literally get a full refund. There is zero risk. So if you look at the link below where it's called Closing Bible, that's the name of the company, go ahead and click there, book a call with my team, and we would love to speak to you.